Okay, real quick, I'm going to go over how all the different social media sites work and decentralized ones. So you have Twitter, right? So Twitter, everybody on Twitter is part of Twitter. Okay, so it's just its own ecosystem. If Twitter goes down, the whole thing goes down. Now with Mastodon, you have a bunch of different servers like this. And they all have, so this is a Mastodon server, this is a Mastodon server, this is a Mastodon server, this is a Mastodon server. And then they have their users, right? So you have all these users. Okay, and they can all communicate, right? So you got users, they can all communicate. I'm drawing through the screen here, through something called ActivityPub. Okay, so they can all talk because they share a protocol called ActivityPub. Okay, ActivityPub. Okay, so this is cool, except that your user, right? So if you're at, something.com, let's just call it playground.com or something, play.com. If your user is on play.com, right, and this server goes down, your user is gone forever and the server is gone because your user is tied to this server, right? So you can't just take this user and move it over here because your username is literally, user at play.com, right? So it's cool that they can communicate, but the other thing is the data itself, like if you want to see a feed, it's not indexed, right? So you can get data from other places, but there's no centralized indexer so you can pull a feed from all of these different servers all at once. There's not a protocol for a global feed. You're pretty much in your world, and if you want to get popular feeds, you don't have an option. You have to just subscribe to people individually and say, oh, I can get here, but how do you know what's going on in the entire ecosystem? You really don't. Okay, with Blue Sky, you can do the same thing, right? So you can have like Blue Sky server, Blue Sky server, Blue Sky server. Say these are small little satellites, right? So it's very similar to Mastodon. Your user is tied to the server, right? So this is the main one, bsky.app. And then you can have these small ones over here. The thing is, there's really just this one, right? This is the big one. This is what everybody uses. There's these tiny little ones that you can have, but the thing is, this is also the main indexer. So where it is over here, I mean, they have plans to have other indexers and to have people contribute, but for the moment, there's really just one centralized point, and everybody communicates with the main Blue Sky. Right, everybody communicates with the main Blue Sky, and if you're on other.com and you're a user at user.com, if your server goes down, your stuff's down. I mean, you're gone. Like your username is always tied to this server.com, and that's a big problem with both Mastodon and Blue Sky. Is that if somebody stops paying the bill on this, right? If somebody stops paying this .com name, it's game over. Right, your name is literally tied to a domain name on the traditional internet. So a lot of people have done, and what I did on Edge.social is I just let people make their username on bsky because it's more likely that this is going to survive. And then what's cool is you have the main indexer, right, which means that if you're always referencing, everybody's referencing, you can see what's going on. So you can see trending and popular posts, and you can see that's so horrible. You can see like trending and popular posts globally because everybody's looking at this there. On Mastodon, you're like, what's going on the network? You have no idea. But over here, at least you have some global idea of what's going on, even though it is kind of centralized. By the way, this uses something called AT protocol. Okay, so both of these are open, which is great for both of these are open. Okay, what does Nostr look like? A lot of people haven't heard of Nostr. It's another one that Jack Dorsey made. Okay, Nostr. So it's funny, some people think Jack Dorsey is Satoshi. I don't buy it, but he is the one who created Twitter, and then he went to create Blue Sky and Nostr. I actually think Nostr has the best protocol. If you don't like Jack Dorsey, it doesn't really make a difference because you can use it and the protocol. And it's other people besides him who worked on it. So you can use it outside of how you feel about him. But so this is how it works, is the Nostr, okay, nodes have, say these are all servers, right? they can communicate on the Nostr protocol, okay? But the main difference is that, so there's no central indexer, but their protocol is such that you can actually query trending. You can query trending and global events because they have a postal service that lets you figure out where trends are coming from. Like every message has a map of where it came from, like which relay. These are called relays. It has an address of where to find the responses, where it possibly came from. So it's much easier to piece together, a post and where it came from and what's going on the network by a single event. And the other main thing, actually, the best thing about this is users, right? Users are independent of these, right? You can create a user on here, but once it's created, you can take this user and it can go anywhere. He can go over here, he can go over here, he can go over here, and he can access this network from any relay, and they're free agents, right? And they're independent. So if one of these goes down, it doesn't matter. Like you and all of your data can just go somewhere else. Right? You can just go reconnect to the network over here, and then you can start posting in, and the network will have all the messages you've ever signed. So wherever you connect, you can just collate and pick up all of your history and everything. So this is the best protocol, in my opinion. It's also the least popular because it's new and it doesn't have like a big daddy server like Blue Sky that's promoting it, because it is so fragmented. But it doesn't matter. Like wherever you attach, usually you get the same experience. So you basically get a Blue Sky-like experience on Nostr, except it's more decentralized. So a lot of the relay servers don't have as many features because they all have their own limited set of features, but you do get like a global experience. Whereas opposed to Mastodon, where you're going to get a completely different experience with a completely limited set of posts that you'll see on every different Mastodon server. Plus, if any of these servers dies, you lose your user and you lose your identity. Now, what I've done on etch.social, the one that I just built, I have integrated Blue Sky, right? I've integrated Blue Sky and Nostr, right? So I'm actually mapping to both their protocols, and I am mapping to the blockchain. And I'm posting these events. So whenever there's an event on the Nostr network, it gets shared to all these different relays, and I'm posting these onto the blockchain. So it's acting like the blockchain is acting like a Nostr relay at the same time, like that. And the users of Etch are also like Nostr users. They're free agents. So if Etch were to disappear, your user, you can still take your user, and actually, because these are formatted the same way, you can actually take one of these users and just go to a Nostr relay, and you can pull up all your data on any of these Nostr relays, right? And the other cool thing is when people post onto make a blockchain post on Etch, it's also posting that blockchain post onto Blue Sky. So now Blue Sky has the capability through Etch to make a blockchain post. And because I made this ERC7847, now Nostr has the capability to have a permanent, see before these relays, all these relays are just ephemeral. If they disappear, then the post can possibly disappear from the network, if depending on like how spread out it is. Now, since I've started putting these posts on the blockchain, it's possible for Nostr relays to grab these permanent events from the blockchain. So now Nostr has the capability through Etch, and they could do it directly if they wanted to make their posts permanent, which is ironic because even though Jack Dorsey made this network, he doesn't put any of the data on blockchain. So I feel like I've fulfilled what his vision really truly is. So if 1,000 years from now, another app were to come along called the Fish app, it can grab all of these posts that are on the blockchain and recreate an entire new network of social media posts, right? Just like Etch is now, and be part of this kind of network over here. But what's also cool is you could just post directly on chain if you